Today's video is all about AllianceBlock Nexera, infrastructure for decentralized tokenized markets. Today, we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive, looking into this project and figuring out whether we should be scaling into this project for the up-and-coming bull run. We'll look at the tokenomics, we'll look at some of the fundamentals, we'll look into the value proposition, and at the end of the day, some critical decisions need to be made. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including these reviews, guys. These deep dives, these are the deep dives that definitely help us out become fundamentally bullish. Being fundamentally bullish right now in this accumulation phase, in this opportunity where we are potentially looking for a bounce to the upside, for a bull run that it could be around that corner. You know, knowledge is currently the power that you need to have. So doing deep dives, getting into the fundamentals, looking at some of the value propositions, and at the end of the day, what are the solutions to the problems that these projects are offering. AllianceBlock Nexera is a infrastructure for decentralized tokenized markets, and it empowers businesses to tokenize assets and compliantly issue, manage, and trade in an inclusive financial ecosystem. So just basically looking at what this website has to offer, I can see that it's DeFi. It is a DeFi project. Definitely. We're going to use this website to get ourselves a little bit more acquainted with the project. We're going to be scrolling around, digging into some of these tabs, and ultimately using this website as our main platform to navigate this project. And at the end, we should be able to gather enough information that could give us a bullish indication, or maybe, you know what, maybe we're going to pass. So let's begin. Let's take a look at what this website has to offer, and it gives us an opportunity to critique the website as well. So far, so good. I like the landing. I like the way it looks. I like the overall quick introduction that lets us know exactly what is going on here. We have a few relationships here at the bottom. Obviously, we got to really be critical about some of these, and Quant, how valuable that relationship is, and Binance. We're going to talk about a little bit of what this could mean, because right now they're just floating icons, and I have no idea how they're involved. Like Engine Starter and Chainlink, these are all very supportive type of projects, not necessarily part of the ecosystem or partnerships or anything like that. So we're going to think about strategic partnerships in a second. Enterprise, access new liquidity. AllianceBlock technology allows institutions and businesses to develop compliant and efficient solutions. So basically, it's a solution. They're offering solutions, but looks like traditional finance, TradFi, or traditional finance entering the space of Web3. And this is a very interesting concept, because it's almost like, it's part of two narratives. It's almost like AllianceBlock is part of the DeFi narrative, of course, decentralized finance, but also the real world asset narrative, in the case that it allows tokenization. It allows business to tokenize their assets, and in a way also in itself bringing traditional finance services to Web3 is almost like bringing real world services to the blockchain, or in this case Web3. So I kind of like its play here. It's a very hot narrative, the real world asset narrative. It's a very new narrative. It's a very uncharted area, in the sense that there's a lot of growth and a lot of possibilities. So that's a good thing. So let's continue here. What else do we have? Platform utilize tokenized assets. Art Banks has developed a decentralized art lending platform. So pretty good. So I guess businesses can use the services of AllianceBlock Nexera to get their own tokenized assets listed. Accelerate your products, power up your business today with the AllianceBlock DeFi infrastructure to take advantage of the next wave of financial innovation. Of course, this would make sense. Everything you need to do to develop, deploy, and so on. wallets. Okay, there's this wallet, BR, never heard of it, and it's available on Engine Starter. So AllianceBlock believes the power of seamless integration, get the tools you need to make your idea and reality in Web3. So this is the thing, providing the instruments required to get this thing going, to get businesses on board and get people on board as far as tokenizing their assets. Performant, what do I mean by that? Decentralized and compliant infrastructure for tokenization. So this is, again, that word performant, I don't know what it means exactly. That AllianceBlock end-to-end infrastructure empowers businesses of all sizes to access new opportunities with tokenization. So all of a sudden, we're getting a clear picture of what this is basically a service to allow tokenization, and this service seems to be geared towards a business-to-business solution. Start quickly to offer off-the-shelf solutions, pretty interesting, chain agnostic, okay, secure and decentralized, and compliant by design. Interesting. I would like to know a bit about its compliance, because a lot of people right now feel like this narrative, this real-world asset narrative, could hit a wall when it comes to compliance. Its ecosystem, we got to be really critical here about the ecosystem. Okay, there are a few partnerships that are viable and, very important. So what do we have here? With an expansive ecosystem of partners, collaborators, and builders to go forward. Okay, that's fine. Explore the ecosystem. Let's open this in another tab, and then we'll continue going down. Made with the community, run by the community. It is a DAO, so that's a good thing. For those of you that don't know what a DAO is, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. Essentially, the governance, or let's call it the business itself, the business, the people that make the decisions are basically decentralized. It's governed by a decentralized organization. Voting, if you're a holder, you get to vote, and if you get to vote, you're part of the decision making as far as what AllianceBlock Nexera will be doing in the future. Any upgrades, any partnerships, any funding, or anything that goes along with the project itself, you can be part of the DAO. So join the AllianceBlock DAO and basically help shape the future of their end-to-end infrastructure. So basically getting involved. So the DAO is a very good thing, because at least the authority is not coming from a central individual or a group of individuals, right? There's accountability here in the sense that the community is the one that calls the shots, and it's governed by a DAO, which a DAO is, again, a decentralized organization, but going better, there's a contract behind it, and it's governed by, again, the blockchain. So it's a blockchain governed organization. Very, very necessary, especially if you want to give individuals or holders a bit of confidence with what happens to the organization itself, the decision making. Okay, so this is key. This is really good. A lot of these crypto companies don't have this, and to see that it is a DAO, AllianceBlock is a DAO, is very, very helpful, useful, whatever you want to call it, but it's good level of transparency there. Media, if you want to go in to see what's going on Coin Codex and Cointelegraph and so on, some blog articles, pretty good reads there. And then as we get closer to the edge, accelerate your performance, get started, and so on. Okay, the bottom header, you got a lot of information, all the socials here, and yeah, pretty good real world asset narrative. So definitely very, very hot narrative, as I mentioned, a narrative that could be in a position to grow. So you're getting in at the bottom, at the early phases, at the early stages of the narrative, which means that it's going to be very hard even for us to come up with a conclusion as to where this thing could be going, because it's on uncharted territory. Will AllianceBlock be the project to basically show us the way? All right, so let's continue here. What else do we have? Let's take a look at the ecosystem, the AllianceBlock ecosystem. What is it all about? Honestly, it's just basically looking at TradFi Capital. You have private banks, investment banks, wealth managers, and so on and so forth. And then you have the AllianceBlock protocol, which is basically a middleman here, bringing or bridging the TradFi into DeFi. And for a new financial industry that cryptocurrency is, or in this case, we're talking about crypto projects in general, we need something like this, right? We know that we're lacking in the DeFi space to offering financial services. So this could be the solution to that problem, right? In a very decentralized way. So I like that. So we have stable coins, P2P lending, data oracles, yield farming, insurance, the DEX, which is a decentralized exchange. So if you're looking to buy and sell assets, derivatives, production markets, and NFT markets, guys, this is equivalent equivalent to what a traditional bank does for traditional finance. And this is why Alliance Protocol could be considered almost a real world service, because it's bringing real world services to a DeFi, to Web3, right? So this is another good idea, another thing, one-stop shop for all your financial needs under one umbrella, one basic SKU here. So pretty good. Ecosystem participants include financial institutions. Okay, this is going to be very vague. Obviously, you can read this. They got to put their money where their mouth is. Essentially, who are these people and why are they considered participants of an ecosystem? You know, this is where I become very critical on projects, because they are quick to list a lot of organizations that are not strategic partners or part of a strategic ecosystem whatsoever. So we're going to be critical, you know, and that's the name of the game here, to be honest. New generation of global compliant capital markets. We got that. That's the value proposition. This is a new capital market, and they're trying to be the first mover to bring those services to this capital market, which is cryptocurrency. Connecting global markets on chain to build and enhance cross-border financial infrastructure. Another, you know, objective, of course, of Web3 and DeFi, and partners and collaborators. Guys, this is where we got to be really critical here, because I can see just by looking, half of these are pointless. Not pointless, let's be real. They're just not strategic. Binance is not strategic. Quant is not strategic. What else do we have? And some of them I don't even identify. This is a wallet. This is engine starter. This is just basically, you know, a launch pad, and the list goes on, and you start looking at what is actually strategic. What value proposition do these other companies bring to AllianceBlock to propel them to the next level, or to scaffold them to the next level where we can see some value? The reality is, just because they have their tokens listed as a Binance Smart Chain, because they are cross-platform or cross-chain, it doesn't mean that they're you know, a partner or collaborator of any sort. It doesn't mean that. So we got to really be critical. I would say a good 50% of these, or if not more, are basically not strategic at all. They're not going to add too much value to the like Parsec and, you know, Swiss Blockchain Federation. What are they offering, you know? And the fact that, let me take this to one next level. The fact that they don't offer information, let me click on any of these. Click on any of these. They don't offer any information with regards to what they are actually doing as partners or collaborators. Leads me to believe that they're not even proud of what they are doing here, because if they were, they would have some information here on a click, ready to go. Okay, so be very critical. It doesn't seem like there's much going on in this ecosystem. What I really want to know is, what applications do they have ready to use as a working product market fit? What is ready to go? There is nothing ready to go so far, as I can see here on this page. Okay, as far as the ecosystem, what is the product? Nothing so far. Okay, so let's continue. We did ecosystem. Let's take a look at the team. So far, I'm just going to say I like this. This is nice and clean, very organized. The ecosystem team, the token, the milestones. You can say that just based on this tab right here, on the About tab, you're going to get a good portion of the information you need to make a deep dive analysis. So very good here. Meet the AllianceBlock team, the founder, chief executive. We have the CTO and CIO guys. These three heavyweights right here are well qualified, especially in the financial institution sector. Okay, we do have some blockchain experience. We do have, but I think their core competency here is financial, and obviously being a financial organization here, leading the way for you know, DeFi. It would be good for them to understand the instruments that they are trying to, you know, get out there as far as a solution to the problem. So these guys are definitely there. They're fully doxed, which I like. You can definitely go on LinkedIn and check out their page. Let's see how successful I am if I get that going. Let's see. Sometimes I got to sign in. Oh no, perfect. So you can see, look, he's got a lot going on here on his page. He's the founder, obviously, and remember, this was the wallet that you could use. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, but it's based on the Netherlands. By the way, their company is a Netherlands-based organization. But if you scroll down a little bit more, 4 years and 2 months at Barclays Investment Club, guys, these guys all have decent backgrounds in financial, okay, or a bit of tech background for that matter. Okay, so that's pretty good. One thing that I do want to note, that is very important to be critical all the time, is the fact that none of them are currently full-time within the Alliance AllianceBlock organization. If you look at all three heavyweights, all three main individuals here, the founders, they all have secondary or primary objectives in other businesses. In this case, this individual, Rachid, he's full-time in the CEO and founder of Nuant, which means that it begs to question, like, how much effort or focus does he have on AllianceBlock? Not to say that he's not to say that they are not, because all of them, like I said, all of these guys have commitments above AllianceBlock. It means that, are they full on into AllianceBlock right now, or is this just a side hustle, or is this just something that is a hobby that might turn into something useful? I'm not trying to spread FUD, but when it's not top of the priority list, then you start to question how down the line is AllianceBlock in their priority list. Okay, so just keep it critical. It's very important. Keep objective, and then of course advisory board. You got some individuals here that definitely have some experience, that they are there to advise the team on various objectives. So pretty good. All fully doxed. I like that fact. Of course, nowadays there is a trend of a lot of projects not considering the need to be fully doxed, especially when there's a DAO and especially when fair launch, right? But this is not the case. They did the right thing and put their faces and their profiles front, right, and center, and this way we can feel a little bit more secure as to who these individuals are that are there backing us up. All right, so pretty good there. On the about page, let's continue. The token itself. The token is honestly very self-explanatory from one aspect and then very complex from another. And I'm going to obviously bring in, I might as well get it over with and rip it off like a band-aid. AllianceBlock comes from a very complex background, in the sense that the original token was exploited. Okay, this original project was hacked, and at the end of the day went down to zero. It could have been strategic, whatever the case is, because there's some theory that it was a strategic thing for compliancy to make the previous token come down to zero right around that hack moment, and then all of a sudden redeploy and come out with Nexera. Okay, so in that original hack, if I'm not mistaken, about 150 million tokens were lost. Okay, so I'm going to get into some of those details in a second, but let's put it this way. Right now, if you hold the old token, you could basically go and bridge over or transfer over those tokens into Nexera tokens. So that's something to consider. Now, is it a negative? Is their past something that they need to still deal with and be held accountable for? At the end of the day, they're growing pains. I do really feel that we become stronger. For every fall, we get stronger. But then again, at the end of the day, we need to understand why that happened, and I'm not going to get into that whatsoever. But tech-wise, we got to ensure, again, now with an extra, fine-tooth comb, we got to make sure that the tech in the overall, exploit is not going to happen again. And of course, it's going to leave a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths. So let's consider this something that we just need to keep in our back pocket. Okay, so an Nexera token economy. Again, the wallet is nice and clear. You're more than welcome to check out the token address, and it's the same across all networks. And we're going to talk about all the networks that are a part of. It is a multi-chain project, which is decent. It's something that interoperability is a hot narrative as well. We want to be able to basically get our tokens across multiple chains and enjoy the freedom of getting on different chains that offer different value propositions. So that's a really, really good thing. Nexera tokens are the backbone of the AllianceBlock ecosystem, and they will act as the currency and many other things. Let's see. Token utility, medium of exchange, staking. So if you want to stake, network fees, obviously very typical, and means of reward, obviously very typical. All the token utility is super typical, and of course, and it's a good thing to sometimes be typical, because we know that these types of instruments and the way we use the token utility actually work, right? So this is pretty good. No ambiguity, nothing to really research here. We know we stake, we get rewarded. A medium of exchange, of course, you can exchange your assets and for different services that are available here on AllianceBlock. Then the network fees, obviously, to make anything go through the network. On any network, there's a bit of a fee. It's not a big one, but it is definitely there. And the means of reward, obviously, for different participating in different things on being a node owner or a staker, or any participation on the network will be rewarded in means of AllianceBlock Nexera tokens. So all very clear and transparent. Okay, so accelerate your community, and that's it right there. So pretty good. again, we'll talk about a little bit more of the detail with regards to the exploit again, and just with a bit more detail. But I think a lot of us, a lot of people that are looking at AllianceBlock are so far off, not looking at it anymore, and they're done thinking about it. So let's consider that for a second. All right, let's do milestones. Let's see. This is probably the best, most transparent roadmap that I've seen, and I do appreciate the level of accountability that they put themselves out here for. So that's very, very, and the fact that they're fully doxed leads me to believe that they're ready to spearhead whatever is to come. In this case, we have different categories. You have different years of different progress of different developments. Obviously, 2023, and then upcoming going future. So let's focus on the upcoming, right? What's going to be happening in the immediate short term. We do have a few things happening here. Ecosystem development, and then the key okay, so we have mobile support, Nexera ID integration, DEX, next version of their DEX, the bridge. We need bridges. We're multi-chain. We need to be able to bridge from one chain to the next. A data tunnel, again, that's very important to get information into the project itself. As they're looking for oracles, maybe oracles that can provide financial data, which is important, of course, as a financial institution that they want to become. Community for builders, visual builder, again, visual builder, visual query builder, and Avalanche subnet. So again, more cross-chain platform type of future applications. Pretty good, nice and clear. They got dates, they got major ideas, they got the overall concept here right now is to say, look, in 2023 they wanted to achieve this. Did they do it? Are they, at least they're giving us some sort of time frame? Maybe a bit more precise would have been good. Maybe first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. You get my drift. But at the end of the day, at least they have a date. I've seen a lot of new projects nowadays don't even mention anything that they want to achieve, and they rely on Twitter and they rely on third parties to get this type of information out there. And of course, that ambiguity doesn't give them accountability, but these guys are okay with keeping themselves accountable, which I respect. Definitely. All right, let's move on. That's those very clear, very nice first tab here on the about media, news, blogs. Feel free to go check that out. We got the white paper. We got so many papers: white, green, the DEX white paper, and the tokenomic paper. Guys, there's a lot here. There's a lot here as far as technicals. Obviously, this is not a tech channel, right? This is not what I do. I'm not going to be reviewing the tech in such detail because, we're not computer scientists here. We're investors. We're traders. We're looking for opportunities. So we're going to kind of look at the overall value proposition. So I felt like, why not just look at the white paper and see what it really does have to offer. Now, the Prometheus protocol, okay? And at the end of the day, what we really want to focus on the fact is half of this white paper, majority of it, let's put it that way, is explaining the problem and their thesis as to why they feel like their service and their efforts here are going to be valuable, right? What problem are they facing? This is the problem that they're trying to solve. All of this, if you read through it, guys, this is very technical. I'm not going to be getting into this because this video will be like 10 hours long, but you can see that there's a good read here if you're interested about speaking about the traditional finance and how their services can offer good solutions to those problems that exist, right? So again, lots and lots and lots and lots of technical aspects. And then if you get down to a little bit more, it gets even more technical here, guys. I'm not going to get into all of this. We're going to keep it basic here in the sense deep dive with regards to a cryptocurrency project, not necessarily a tech review. Okay, so let's keep on going. And guys, these are all the founders and so on and so forth. Heavy duty stuff here on this white papers. Not very typical white paper, let's put it that way. But their website is nicely aligned to be a very clear type of white paper. And again, that link leads you to a Google Drive where you can get all the DEX paper and the green paper and the tokenomics. And again, if you click the tokenomics, guys, the technical aspect behind this is next level. I'll show you what I mean. They really get into it, really get into it. And it's a little bit vague in a way. I wish they had a light paper that made this very clear and easy to read for individuals that are not savvy in the sense that, like tech savvy and financial savvy. And they do have a little bit of ambiguity with regards to their exploit, because they literally had to take 150 million tokens off the table because they were lost in the exploit. So, I don't know if this addresses that. I'm not sure if this has been updated. And I feel like it would have been really, really nice to get a light paper. If they want to keep it this intense, that's fine, with all kinds of different things. But we need something to get straight to the point, and then maybe take our research to the next level with these in-depth papers here that are definitely high level. Okay, so pretty good. Obviously, more the better, but sometimes when it's not easy, it's not an easy read, or you have to, you know, pick through it with a very fine-tooth comb, it does make things a little difficult with regards to research. Okay, so let's keep that there for a second. We got lots of papers to read, and engage, liquidity minting, bridge, data tunnel, Nexera exchange. Let's see what that is about. NXRA exchange protocol, start trading. Again, you have a trading protocol, upcoming features. Let's start trading now. Let's see what happens. I've never done this. Let's see. Okay, it looks like a DEX of some sort, and they're trading pairs. They got a few going on here. You can see it's still very light. You know, they're still working on it. It's nice and clean. Connect your wallet. Nothing too crazy just yet, but we're in the early stages. Let's see if I can get back there easily. All right, so not bad. And then the peer-to-peer build, use case overview, micro funding, non-bankable assets, and grow, liquidity mining, bridge, and build. Okay, there's a lot happening here. Use case overview, build together, peer-to-peer finance. So like, again, you can introduction for the frontiers of peer-to-peer finance. Big innovation of Bitcoin has created the frontier of peer-to-peer finance that will provide immense value to those who put time into understanding and utilizing it. Okay, very vague, but still I get it. How DeFi creates new and efficient markets in microfinance. Again, I think this is just a lot of iteration and explanation as to what they're going to be doing, and of course it's just bringing traditional. I think that initial what was it? I think it was the ecosystem. Was this? I think this is a great explanation as to what they have to offer. It's this right here, and you can compare it and make an analogy and compare it to the traditional capital finance, right? TradFi. And if you can make that comparison, what they're really trying to do is just transfer over those services into DeFi. Good stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to get into too much of this because it's a lot happening here. And then the contact. Let's see what that is. Just curious. Okay, you can fill this in and contact them if you please. So you can see that overall this deep dive was pretty good, but one thing that I didn't appreciate is the fact that they didn't have anything related to token distribution. The white papers didn't really have anything clear, a lot of ambiguity. I got onto the Discord to try to get some more information, and even then I wasn't even able to get a clear sense of, you know, what the token distribution is like. So you had to get on chain, and you had to rely on whatever information you can basically gather from the general community. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you guys, obviously. And if we go, what about the socials? We go on their Twitter page, on their X page, join our No Mercy communities. What do they got going on here? They have 64K followers. Not bad for a small little organization like them, doing up and coming things. So pretty good. And they got a lot of different posts going on here. What's their engagement look like? Let's see. Not much. They got to get a little bit more volume into these engagement. 200. Okay, not bad, but still not enough. Definitely not enough. More likes, more engagement necessary. Okay, well, let's look at this in a little bit more detail. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at the overall numbers. I know these are very important. Okay, so obviously it's at 9.4 cents. It's still very cheap, but don't really focus on that. If you're new to crypto, what you really want to look at is the market cap or the fully diluted evaluation, right? The valuation is going to give you an idea what this project is actually worth with the current price, right? And I still feel it's very young. Obviously, $80 million is nothing, and the market cap at its current state is at about 75, right? $75 million, which is very small. It's still very small. It's not a micro cap, but it's a small cap, altcoin. And the circulating supply, there's 850 million tokens, and 785 million already are in circulation. So that's a good portion of them. A significant amount of them are already in circulation. So you're not really fearful of any dilution. So for example, you're not fearful of the fact that more tokens are going to hit the market really quickly and over dilute the supply, in the sense that causing the price to come down. So that's a good thing. And the rest of the tokens are going to be distributed via rewards. So nice and slow and steady distribution based on rewards. Okay, not a bunch of tokens, being, unlocked and hitting the market and causing a supply shock. None of that happening. So that's a good thing, right? 24-hour trading volume is a little low. We'll talk about that in a second. Fully diluted, $80 million, very, very low. It's part of the real world asset narrative, of course. And let's add to that list, of course, DeFi. It's part of the DeFi narrative to the next level, bringing traditional finance to the blockchain. So pretty good. Let's take a look at Etherscan. What's going on there? Let's make sure we open that in a new tab. Let's see, we got holders. This is what I usually do to check out the holders, and we can see that KuCoin owns 12%, 13%. AllianceBlock Nexera token distribution to another 10%, and then after that, there's not many. Got MEXC holding about 2%, and a few other BitTrue, Bitfinex, KuCoin, another KuCoin, but these are very, very, very little wallets with not much volume in them. So at the end of the day, this is a very decent distribution. We know that the tokens that are out there are pretty much distributed evenly with no major accounts or many major holders to dump the price. So this is pretty good. We got about 14,000 holders, total transfers, the price fully diluted. These are all very good metrics and very confluent what we see on CoinGecko. So pretty good stuff overall. What else do we have here? Let's get back to CoinGecko, and then you can see that it's Binance Smart Chain. Let's go up here for a second so you can see this. It's Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, and Polygon. These are the networks that and Ethereum, obviously. These are the contracts that are available where these tokens can be traded across. So you can bridge over to Binance if you want those fees, Avalanche if you want the fees, and Polygon if you want the fees, and you can stay out in Ethereum for of course it's the largest network. If that's a value to you, then of course pay the gas fees. But if you're looking for alternatives, you got these three other chains to work with, which is very useful. And it's very common across the markets nowadays to see cross-chain platforms like this. All right, pretty good, not bad so far. I'm kind of liking this. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at you know what, I think we can summarize now. Let's get into our summary, guys. I do release one of my summary infographics. I'm going to be releasing this on the socials, on even on the Discord, guys. If you're not part of the Discord, feel free to join. There's a link in the description. It's a great community, lots of good alpha trade setups, fundamentals, learning material, and all these deep dives are there if you're interested in digging a little deeper, of course. Okay, so AllianceBlock, we know DeFi solution, tackling the real world asset narrative, very, very open space for that, a lot of growth. We talked about some of these numbers already. I still feel the fact that, approximately 90% of the tokens are already in supply is a really good thing. Again, we can be somewhat rest assured here that the rest of the tokens are not going to drag down the price as they, enter the market. Trading volume is a little bit lower. It's only 1.5% of the total, which kind of bothers me. I like to see a lot more volume to give proof of an active network. Of course, it's a small, project, and it's not listed on any major exchanges, but nonetheless a little bit more volume would be great because it would give you an idea of if market participants are really interested here. And I'm seeing it kind of flatline here at about only 1.5%. 800k volume on a project this size, it doesn't show me a lot of market participation. So I want to see volume, I want to see liquidity, I want to see in and out. I want to see an active network. So that for me is a bit of a negative, just a little bit. And then if we kind of zoom out here and we go start looking at the ecosystem is underdeveloped. There's nothing there. Okay, there's nothing really happening just yet. I still feel like they're trying to provide evidence for a potential, to show a bit of evidence that there is an ecosystem, but really you got to be critical about all those logos. Those logos, a lot of them don't mean anything, and there's nothing really being built at the current moment. So I want to see something of value being built, and that would get me a lot more confident, and they would be clear and happy to share that front, right, and center on their website if they had something valuable to show on their ecosystem. But guess what? They don't. So if they did, they would have it, and if they don't have it, then that means it's a poor implementation on their part. So either way, there's some area for improvement and growth in that section. Okay, so utility, it's very typical, and I like that. Sometimes typical is good. You're familiar, you don't need to start reinventing any wheels. Utility, medium of exchange, staking, network fees, and VPN means of reward. That's what you're going to be using this token for. Pretty good stuff. Nothing to really be yeah, whoa, wrong one, guys. That was if you want to check out my Octaspace deep dive, go check it out. Anyways, let's continue here. The roadmap, yeah, the roadmap, very good, because they kept it very accountable in the sense that a lot of good dates, a lot of detail, all steps of the way, year by year, different categories, different things. They've done a great job organizing their vision, and that way you can step into their mindset as to where they think to carry this project to the next level. Guys, that's what we kind of want to see in this market, as much detail as possible, so that we can get on the journey with them. And if they keep you out of the loop, that means you don't know which direction they're going, and it keeps you a little bit anxious, to be honest. So this is not bad. If they wanted to take it to the next level, maybe provide like a quarterly type of idea, in the sense where, you know, they want to be by a certain time period within the year. That gives a little bit more precision, and especially with the DAO being an active community, it definitely helps individuals to want to be part of that DAO and maybe become you know, individuals that are participating to the DAO. Basically, the team, fully doxed, number one, great stuff there, lots of experience in the financial services sector and DeFi and all of that. So I you know, it's a decent team. I think that we can remain confident that the team is doing a good job. The socials, X followers 64K, not bad, and they're up. Their follower count is up in the last 30 days, an extra 200% in comparison to the last 30 days. So they're growing. However, their engagement as far as their posts and what they're offering is down approximately 13%. So they got to keep on going here, guys. Don't lose power, don't lose stamina. You got to keep on going and get this engagement going. Have something happening there. Get your marketing team all over it. Somehow somebody on the DAO has to have some leverage there to get active on X. Tokenomics, pretty good. The majority of the tokens are in distribution, like I mentioned, 90% of them. Token distribution is spread across many wallets. We've seen that based on Etherscan. Remaining tokens will be issued via rewards, slow and steady, no dilution, risk of dilution. As I mentioned, tokenomics are decent, very interesting. However, guys, again, that exploit, we'll talk about that in a second on my overall verdict. Partnerships, there's some partnerships, we got to be real. Data providers, meaning the majority of them, SSA, Crunchbase, another data provider, ABO, digital tokenized structure products for institutions. So it's, you know, an organization that is tokenizing products already, perhaps helping the ecosystem. But guys, like, this is the thing here. You know, they need a little bit more happening, and I think as a new project there's gonna be more in the future. So I'm being a little bit, you know, critical about in this section, because partnerships could be a make it or break it scenario, and I'm waiting for them to be full on, very clear and transparent about the value of having a strategic partner. Strategic partners are what make a difference. All these little companies coming together and just, you know, holding each other's hand is not a strategic partnership. Okay, so let's be critical on that one, because a lot of them are, it's very easy to just put logos on a website. Exchanges, KuCoin, Mexi, Uniswap, Bitfinex, all decent exchanges out there. However, guys, we're waiting for a heavyweight to bring some volume in here, and that will definitely get some of the volume. You can see the trading volume, as I mentioned, is only 1.5%, and it's explained by the fact that, you know, we're not getting in any major tier one exchanges. Yeah, we have KuCoin. KuCoin is pretty big, not bad, you know, it's pretty good, and Mexi's definitely up and coming, doing this thing, and very popular nowadays. And Uniswap obviously is Uniswap, and, you know, low liquidity in my book, but nonetheless, we need some heavyweights up in there. Maybe a Binance listing, maybe a Coinbase listing, or something like that. You never know, an FTX listing for that matter, you never know. But nonetheless, I still feel like this could be an opportunity, because if once it does get listed, we're going to see the Nexera token run up. So maybe a bit of an allocation, so not bad. All right, my verdict, guys. Let's talk about verdict at the end of the day. There are a few points here that I want to go through. You know, there's some good stuff. Obviously, it's a multi-chain. It's something that I like. I've been seeing a lot of trends nowadays looking at multi-chain platforms. And then you have previous added. So, you know, the previous hack, basically, sorry for the typo, but added a layer of complexity to the token distribution and trust. So for me, that's a little bit complicated. It's if you look at somebody the token distribution right away, the major focus is how to transfer your old tokens into the new tokens Nexera. The ALBT tokens, how can you transfer them to Nexera? That's the main focus right nowadays when you talk about token distribution. And I know there's the individuals that got burnt and they want to get their old tokens, the ALBT tokens, over to Nexera's and all of that. But 150 million previously allocated tokens to nodes were removed from the total supply to account for the stolen tokens. So this is something where a lot of people might, be just kind of looking the other way when they read this, is that what are the chances they're gonna, be the Phoenix and, recover here? And it could be possible, no doubt. It could be possible. That's why we have 150 million tokens out there instead of 1 billion tokens. That could be the reasoning and all of that. But there's a lot of technicality here with how they got this this flip over to the new tokens, the Nexera tokens. And at the end of the day, just putting it out there, guys, do your research. Listed partners are not strategic. A lot of them are not. They're just there for good looks. If they were strategic partnerships, they would be willing to give some details on that. That's how I feel. Ecosystem webpage seems a bit deceiving. Again, a lot of logos with no substance, so we need a little bit of substance. Good website, white papers, many good technical white papers, a lot of information. You can definitely read until your heart's content and get a lot of technical data there, which is important, and they go through their thesis very thoroughly, which I respect. And many other technical papers are available as well for those individuals that want that level of research. Details about the project need to be repackaged with a bit more clarity and focus. That's what I feel. I feel there's a lot of happening and a lot of uncertainty whether the data still belongs to the previous ALB tokens, or is it the new Nexera tokens, or a little bit of everything. I feel like a new package, a new overall look with a new stamp on it might be a little bit better, and simplify, maybe a light paper to simplify everything in a very clear way, so that people that doing deep dive researches like this are able to get the information they need really quickly without being anxious or feeling doubtful that the information that they're getting is outdated or unreliable. Okay, so definitely do for a bit of marketing from that perspective. Distribution of information right now, especially in crypto, as we are all looking for new up and coming projects, needs to be focused on. Steam is very, very strong, but the dedication to the project, it can be questionable given the fact that on LinkedIn, they're not full-time. They don't claim to be a full-time focus on Nexera, AllianceBlock. So in this case, we can think that maybe it's a side hustle, or maybe it's just something that they are hoping does well and they're doing it on the side on their spare time. I don't know. We don't know. That's the thing. Unless they are committed, full-on committed, all we can say is it's questionable. Okay, so we'll keep it at that. Discord is healthy and supportive. X growth shows a market interest, which I appreciate. Part of the new real world narrative and DeFi narrative, really good. The RWA is something that I'm really focused on in the next little while. Now, whether you're super bullish or not, based on that narrative, through compliancy issues that you may foresee or whatever the concern is, I just feel like the hype is definitely going to be there. Okay, so bridging over real world financial services, tools and instruments to Web3. So for me, that's obviously a different spin on real world assets, because we always think about assets as tangible products, right? But what about services in this case? It looks like what they're trying to bridge is that those traditional TradFi services into Web3, which for me, it's almost like a new narrative in itself. The real world services narrative would be pretty cool to see how that works out. So far, I kind of like this, the real world assets, the DeFi, the this, the that. I feel like it's all aligning to be a really good value proposition overall. And then finally, talking about what I think with regards to its valuation, like, future valuation or price target. I'm a momentum trader, guys. You guys know that. Momentum traders don't really, boast the fact that they can pinpoint targets. And targets are difficult when you're a momentum trader, because you wait for momentum to show you the way. When the momentum shows weakness, that's when you start, becoming defensive. When the momentum shows strength, that's when you get offensive. And it's hard to predict the future, what's going to be happening based on, typical strategies. But we can say a couple of things. Nexera with the market cap of $1 billion. Okay, this is where, I'm going to throw that out there. $1 billion market cap for an altcoin in today's day. It's considered a larger cap altcoin. Okay, it's a larger cap. It's not a large cap in the sense comparing it to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's move those away. But if you look at the cluster of the $1 billion altcoins, they're pretty large already. They've done a great job in the current state that they're in. However, we're still in a transitionary phase into the bull run, right? Whether we are already in the bull run and we're going to higher levels in price discovery, or we might come down for a bit of a correction and then maybe be able to scale in a little bit more, maybe a 20-30% correction could be around the corner. Regardless, at the end of the day, a $1 billion valuation for a project like this should take it about 13 to 14x, giving it a value of about $1.25, more like $1.27, okay, just to be accurate. But $1 billion market cap at this current state is good in a current bear market-ish transitionary phase. So that's still pretty decent. It's still pretty decent. But let's say we get into a very raging bull run. Now, could it actually, beat that or exceed that $1 billion? I still feel like $1 billion is a good benchmark, but it could definitely possibly hit that $2 mark depending on how strong the narrative becomes. Because the narrative as we speak is so underrepresented. If you look at all the projects that are under that category, and we can go do that. In fact, you know what? Let's go do that quick. I'll do that quick. We'll go out of the different, we'll go out of the way to kind of see more data here. You can see where AllianceBlock is, Nexera is right around this level in the sense that there's got a few of them above it, okay, and within the same narrative. But the reality is, 200,000 is not that far away. It's only double more or less. But if you look at the overall markets, $1 billion market is you made it, right? You made it as an altcoin. You did pretty well. There's none of them within this narrative are at that level. There's no first mover advantage currently in this narrative. So could AllianceBlock be one of those individuals within the DeFi space to bring those real world asset utilities to the market and maybe become the market leader with the first mover advantage? For me, that is very, very possible. And if that becomes the case, it's likely that we hit a higher value, maybe hitting about $2. Personally speaking, if we hit $1 billion market cap, hit around a $1, I would start getting defensive at about $1. I would start being critical. I would start keeping my eye out and coming up with a plan to become defensive to defend those gains. But at the end of the day, if it hit $2, of course, that is a very viable possible target. But again, in and with around this range, I definitely see Nexera, especially if it continues hitting the mark, hitting all those key characteristics that we're all looking for a bullish project. It could hit that $2 level. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's take a look at the price action. What's going on here with Nexera? Kind of going sideways, of course. If we start zooming out, nothing is really happening. We are currently at range highs. Is this the scenario where you could start to see risk? Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Guys, whenever you see price action like this, it's actually pretty healthy, to be honest, especially in a transitionary phase. It does look like transition, to be honest, going sideways, nice bottoms, nice tops, very clear sideways channel type of price action, to the point that this high right here could be considered the heart line of this channel. And if you use the channel tool, which is this tool right here, and you bring it over and you start plotting this out, and you bring it over here, you start plotting it out. I'm going to do it very loosely. You can see that, this top was the heart line. It is the heart line, right? So we got a bit of a rejection. We came back down, picked up some more bullish bids, nice bullish divergence, follow through, a bit more bullish divergence that got a bit of a rejection, and then continuation to the upside. And now we're up to range highs. Now, the question is it time to get into a full-on bull stance at range highs at potential resistance? This is where things get risky, guys. The time to get in a long position has passed. And where was it? Right around here. This is the green arrows that here on the channel I use to keep my strategy accountable. And I post these are all on the live streams. These are all posted. If this is not posted on the Discord, it's definitely on the live stream because sometimes I cover these live. But nonetheless, these are great setups. If you look at them, if you've bought into this general area, you are definitely in the green. Even on the back test, hitting the top of the volume gap, you're definitely in the green. Let's look at some of this momentum right now. You can see that we're definitely overbought, and just keep it into consider that we've been overbought in many of these projects for a good while they keep on going and staying overbought for a good period of time. So in this bullish phase that we are in, and we're seeing a lot of good bullish momentum, the momentum is basically based on the 4-day and the weekly, and the daily is going to take that bullish bias, even though they are overbought, until the larger time frames, get fully overbought and fully extended into overbought territory. I feel like a lot of these projects are going to stay overbought, particularly the leading indicators. We're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. If Bitcoin and Ethereum are not done on the weekly being overbought, the likelihood of a continuation to the upside on altcoins are very possible. So we can see that right now this could be an accumulation phase, but accumulating at this current moment is risky because the reward is quite difficult. Why? Because if we come up to the top of the range and get rejected, there's a long way down, right? You're talking about a good dip here if that happens, and from where we are right now all the way back down to the bottom of the range, you're looking at a 50% dip. But what about if we break out? What about if we get enough bullishness, we actually pick up bullish bids, maybe we take a bit of a dip and backtest this heart line, we backtest the heart line, and then we continue to the upside? Regardless, it's a 50-50 shot. You're pretty much halfway through to the top and halfway to the bottom, which means you're 50-50. You're actually gambling here if you get into a fresh long. But then again, there is a bit of risk of not having exposure, not having skin in the game, because this thing could actually take off like many of the other altcoins that are up significantly right now during this period. So this is the chance you're taking. Not having exposure, you're taking the chance that you won't have exposure, and getting into a fresh long right now, you're taking a chance that we come back for a major corrective move, especially as Bitcoin is up over 100% since its absolute bottom. So this is something that we all have to keep account for, because in the current scenario, we can see AllianceBlock could be risky. Now let's see if there's enough data here on the 4-day. It's entering the bullish control zone, it's entering the overbought scenario, and the weekly still trying to get to overbought scenarios, which means that it could definitely get into price discovery. There's not enough data here, obviously, but it's a beautiful W, and W's, technically speaking, are nice patterns to actually look for breakout trades. And as a breakout trader right now, if you are a breakout trader, this is what you're potentially looking for, is a breakout trade. But you got to admit, at this level, a lot of people are going to be looking for shorts, because the risk to reward ratio is healthy by putting a stop loss right at about 12 cents and then shorting it right back down to the bottom of the range, considering that it got rejected before and did that. And what's to say that it can't happen again? And the level of resistance right at this level could be there to engage in that short. The RSI, no signs of bearish divergence on the daily, and the MACD, no signs of bearish divergence either. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour is a little bit of divergence. I would say higher highs on the price action, double top on the momentum. That's a Class C bearish divergence. Nothing crazy here. So a small correction based on Class C. It's absolutely normal, right? And then you can see this is definitely trending, and we did get higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. Totally kind of invalidated, because if you connect these two tops, they are still downward sloping, and you can see how short-term bearish divergences in the last little while got totally invalidated. But then if you start looking at the 4-hour, it's starting to look like, maybe it is another divergence. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. Class A bearish divergence, we're getting there. Now, do we come down, back test again, and then maybe get another impulsive move to touch the top of the range? It's very possible, guys. So this is the thing here now. We're seeing the 4-hour come down. We're seeing the 4-hour get back to the bottom of the range. Let's just be clear about this 4-hour on the RSI. The RSI hasn't gotten to oversold conditions for a while. And you can see here what is happening, that we started around here, we're coming up, and then maybe we start coming down, right? And that's the reality. We could hang out here for a little bit and slowly roll over, and it does do that once in a while. You can see that even right around here came up and then comes down, and then comes up and then comes down, and then so on and so forth. And even the opposite way, look at that, look at this. These are all the ebb and flows of the market, right? So maybe eventually we kind of hang out here, maybe for another last hurrah, maybe another impulsive move, get ourselves to the top top of the range, and then all of a sudden, boom, we start coming down. And that's the possibility here based on even the fact that Bitcoin has done a great move to the upside. The MACD is still facing down. Let's see what's going on here with this MACD. EMAs are facing down with red histogram bars. We got a few pale pink ones, but nothing confirmed yet for a bullish reversal to the upside here on the 4 hours. So it does look like the potential plateau here is very possible, backtesting this heart line. If we do come back to the heart line and we do get some support at the top of this little volume gap, I'll show you what I mean here on the 4 hour. We got a bit of a volume gap, and I'm going to I'll put in a red box just for demonstration. You'll see that this is a weak spot in the chart, and if we hold support at the top of the volume gap and we want to get into a position here, that's fine, but be prepared that we could come down to the bottom of the volume gap and then finally get that last impulsive move, and then maybe continuation to the upside. I just want to bring it out to your attention that the trend is your friend until the end, and at this current moment we're still in a uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, until we start breaking structure. Number one, we need to start breaking character of this overall trend to isolate a pivot point, some sort of head and shoulders, inverse cup and handle, inverse Adam and Eve, whatever it is. Even a nice M pattern could give us a signal that, you know what, we're done, we're rolling over. But as of now, the trend is your friend, and it's likely that we see Nexera alliance block get to about, maybe about 12 cents. But still, you understand that the resistance is there. A lot of individuals looking for a breakout trade. There's a couple of things that you could do here to mitigate your risk. And of course, it's all about risk management. Risk is public enemy number one. The risky way is to wait for the break and get in. Okay. The less risky way would be to get in on a back test and put a stop loss below. And the next risky way as a breakout trader is let it break out. Okay, get in with 10% right around this level, let it break out, let it roll over for a back test, fill up with another 30% or 20%, get in a little bit more upon the back test, let it go back up, and on the break, get in with another 30% or something like that. And then obviously, by breaking this high, you're confirming another higher high, and that's the way it goes. Overall, your entry will be right around here, and you definitely will be in a bit of profits. But of course, nobody knows what's going to happen. Imagine if we break out of the previous highs and it does one of these and it just keeps on going. It could happen. It could happen. This is why, taking a bit of a strategic risk is very, very healthy. Put those stop losses in, guys, because we don't know what's going to happen in the immediate short term. We are definitely on the weekend, and leading into Monday, we do get some volatility. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. Do the channel a massive favor and slap that like button. It does help out with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to follow me on those socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord, guys. The Discord is a great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning material, and all that good stuff. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you tonight. And don't forget, buy the dip.